We have already talked about so many space explorations that have taken place over the generations, over the years, and have made individual countries and all of us proud through their research and the programs. But there also circulate and float various type of conspiracy theories regarding space. A lot of about Area 59, about the Apollo moon landing. So now we are actually going to debunk all these theories which has existed over the years, has been talked about a lot. So among this is a first theory about the Apollo moon mission that some people claim that it's fake. So we are going to embark on an exciting journey into one of the most iconic and probably controversial moments in the human history, the uh, the Apollo moon mission landings. We'll delve deep into the intriguing questions that have fueled numerous debates and conspiracy theories over the years. You'll probably heard about some thought-provoking queries like why are there no stars in the moonwalkers photos, and why does the US flags flutter on the lunar surface, and why won't we see marks from the lunar modules that landed there? Why are there no footmarks on the surface of the moons? So just sit tight, and we are going to unravel a few of this mystery, which are separate fact from fiction, and discover the truth behind the famous or the infamous moon landing conspiracies. So first things first, the curious absence of stars in the moonwalkers photos. It is a question that has perplexed many over the years. You see, on Earth, we are accustomed to being able to photograph stars against the night sky. However, when the astronauts landed on the moon, they were operating in an entirely different environment. The moon's surface is bathed in intense sunlight, and this is harsh glare in keen to trying to take a pictures of stars during daylight on Earth. So NASA explains that the bright sunlight on the lunar surface washes out the faint light of the stars, making it rendering them virtually invisible into the astronaut's photograph. So the answer is basically simple. Sunlight on the moon outshines the stars, making it difficult to capture the photo. So unlike on Earth, we can see the stars on the night sky and capture them. That wasn't the actual case on the moon. So that's why through the photographs which you and I have seen, we cannot see the stars on these photographs. Now let's tackle the peculiar case of the US flags planted on the moon surface. You might have wondered why these flags appear in the fluttering is like wave flag waving in the photographs, when, as we all know, that the moon has no atmosphere to create wind. The answer is, if you use a little bit of your common sense, and if you have a little bit of ingenuity, you'll know why it happens. So NASA designs these flags with metal rods staged into them. A very clever innovation, actually. So these rods allowed the flags to extend outwards and appear as though they were waving in the moon's breeze, giving the photo a very dynamic and patriotic touch. So without this thoughtful design element, the flags would have hung straight down and wouldn't have created that iconic photo of Neil Armstrong's alongside the flag landing on the moon surface. So these thoughtful designs, these, as I said, these would have hung straight down, making for a rather uninspiring photo prop. So no conspiracy theory here, just some creative engineering choices that made for striking images of the American flag on the moon surface. Now, last but not the least, let's address the enigmatic absence of visible marks from the lunar modules that landed on the moon. The landmarks, so the wheel marks on the surface of the lunar territory. So it may be very counterintuitive, but there's a logical explanation. The lunar modules, although heavier, they have the astronaut themselves have a more evenly distributed mass. This means that when they touched down, they didn't create pronounced marks on the moon surface in some areas. On the other hand, the astronauts' boots concentrated their weight on a smaller surface, resulting in distinctive footprints that we are all familiar with. So it's all about the distribution of mass and pressure on the lunar surface, which can be quite different from what we experience on Earth's surface, because obviously gravity, the nature, atmosphere, everything is different when you go outside of Earth, or no matter the moon, Mars, or any other XYZ planet. So, in a nutshell, these moon landings conspiracies are much simpler to answer that they might appear at first glance. It's all about understanding the unique conditions and clever engineering choices made during this Apollo mission program. So the next time someone brings these questions, you can confidently explain the science behind them and the engineering behind these moon landing mysteries. The Apollo moon landing remains an incredible testament to human ingenuity and determination. This stand as a symbol of what humanity can achieve when we work together to reach the stars. So thank you for joining me on this exploration of lunar law, and remember to hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you. The next thing that we are going to talk about is a very famous and another controversial thing, which is Area 51. So you probably heard all sort of wild tales about this place, right? Well, today we are going to break down the whole story in a way that from a 5-year-old child to even your grandma could understand these type of story. The next time someone asks you about what is Area 51 and all the questions regarding it, you will be able to confidently answer it. Alright, let's rewind back to 1996 when the movie Independence Day, a movie that had aliens and flying saucer and was a massive hit. And you know what they say sometimes, movie gets people's imaginations running really, really wild. So some people started thinking like, hey, what if Area 51 has something to do with aliens and their high-tech alien technologies and toys? You know, those UFOs zipping around the sky. Uh, Hang on, but here's the real deal. First things first. Area 51 is a legit place out in the Nevada desert, just a stone's throw away from the flashy lights of Las Vegas. The US government has even said yet yes, it is a real place, so it's not a place to be hidden from some people or anything. So no, people know that's a legit place. Though like they have to keep it low key, calling it Homey Airport or Groom Lake makes you a lot wonder, right? So here's what makes it really really interesting. Area 51 isn't all about little green men there, flashy little saucers. Back in the days during the 1960s and the 1970s, this place was like a testing ground for some of the top secret spy planes. We are talking about like Lockheed U-2 and A-12 Oxycart, these kind of stuff that James Bond would probably drool over, and in today Tom Cruise would. So these planes were so hush and hush that they were flying around, and people like, what the heck is that? What's that? I mean, see, when you keep something hidden from people, so it really intrigues a hint in their mind that what would be going on there. It questions yourself. So that they weren't wrong calling it them unidentified object, because they were top secrets, not because alien was steering the wheel. So don't let any alien stories fool you. The history of Area 51 is more about the cool aircraft than the tiny little green men or the ET terrestrials. So, but who knows, maybe there are still some mysteries hiding in the desert. After all, it's a very big, vast place with loads and loads of secrets, and that's what makes it darn intriguing. So the next time you hear someone say Area 51 and aliens, just remember the real story is about spy planes and not any EET phoning homes. But the truth is out there, right? You can go out and see if they allow you. The third theory that we are going to discuss is a pretty legitimate, not legitimate, I'm really sorry, pretty stupid theory that a lot of people believe. So today we're going now covering a pretty intriguing topic to delve into, and it's been buzzing around on the internet a few years back. That and even today sometimes if you go on Twitter, which is X now, and any other social media platform, popularly Reddit as well, you'll find this theories floating around that, which is the NASA conspiracy theory. Some people out there genuinely believe that NASA isn't quite what it seems. Instead of exploring the vast researches of the space, they have something to claim that NASA is cooking up some space related hoaxes And the most famous example they point out is obviously the first theory that we discussed, which is the Apollo moon mission. So we are going to explore this theory in detail. So buckle up. So now those who subscribe to this conspiracy theory often can be seen using the hashtag NASA Hawks. So on social media to connect with the like-minded believers. They assert that the jaw-dropping images of places like Mars, Pluto, and even our very own Earth isn't are nothing but CGI images. I mean, the very first thought when you listen to something, your spirit is like, this stupid or any something like that. Can you believe it? I mean, they think NASA is just tricking us with this fancy graphics. So here's the scoop. NASA, short form for National Aeronautics and Space Administration, was established way back in 1958, even before some of the people watching here were born, and its mission was quite clear. So, according to NASA Act of 1958, when which President, uh, I don't remember the name, he signed into the law for NASA purpose was to provide for research into problems of flight within and outside the Earth's atmosphere and for other purposes. So, from the get go, NASA was all about exploring it and advancing a knowledge of space and aeronautics. Since its inception, NASA has been a very high of activity. They send a multitude of satellites into orbit, various celestial bodies, including a very own Earth, the Moon, and several other planets in our solar system. In fact, I mean, they have got a pretty impressive track record. They either orbit, flown by, or even land on every single planet in our solar neighborhood. I mean, there's some serious exploration as nothing, and it's nothing but a hoax. I mean, can you believe it? Some people actually say that, and it's not only Earth. I mean, the satellites have not been orbiting Earth. They have sent satellites, rovers to Mars, neighboring planet, to which can potentially sustain life, and do research about the living beings so that in near future, Mars and Earth both could be habitats for human beings and other living creatures. And it doesn't stop there. NASA also plays a very very significant role in human space exploration as well. They send astronauts into orbits where they carry out a vital research and experiments abroad in the International Space Station, short long form for ISS. These astronauts aren't just floating around in Hollywood movie sets or shooting movies, and they're doing fun and all. They are conducting real scientific work that benefit us all and in the benefit for human beings. So if you are still not convinced that NASA is a real thing, there are ways to see their work with their own eyes. You can actually you know witness a rocket launch in person. It's a jaw-dropping experience that's hard to fake. So if you are able to find a rocket launch yourself, and you may be able to see that these aren't fake. And if that's not enough, you can trace the International Space Station and other satellites using simple tools and apps. And when you see them cruising across the night sky, it will become pretty clear that NASA is actively exploring space. And it's not just NASA. I mean, every other space organization body or every different countries, may it be India, China, Russia, France, everyone has actively been involved in the recent years, and NASA is one of the oldest bodies in space researchers to do that. And calling it Hawks is, as I earlier said, it's pretty stupid, and it always be stupid. So NASA actually, inspired others, was one of the first to do that, so that others could be inspired as well. So in conclusion, while there might be a few conspiracy theories about there, the evidence overwhelmingly supports the fact that NASA is indeed doing what it was created to do, exploring space and pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. So the next time you come across those stunning space pictures, remember they are not any computer generated magic. They are the result of years of hard work, dedication, and a genuine passion for space exploration. NASA's mission is real and is taking us to places we can never even dream of. Fourth on the list about various conspiracies that we are debunking is Planet 9. So Planet Nine was a conspiracy theory, not really a conspiracy theory, but something that really made headlines way back. So let's talk about it. So, so the headlines were made in April 2016. The New York Post sent out a tweet that set the internet on fire. So the tweet was as follows: a newly discovered planet could destroy Earth as soon as this month. So this month means April of 2016. Uh, they were talking about a potentially apocalyptic scenario involving a mysterious celestial body, and it was supposed to happen in within the matters of week. So that's really something that could grab your attention, right? If someone would just tell me, call me, and say, in a matter of weeks, the planet is going to burst into pieces, and it would be won't be I don't think there won't be anyone who could panic, right? Everyone would panic at the same time. So that's the whole deal about. So what's the whole deal about? Let's talk about it. Well, the New York Post was referring to a hypothetical planet known as the Planet 9. This was a theoretical planet, yes, not a real planet, but a theoretical planet which was said to be lurking way out of the fringes of a solar system. Not only did the newspaper suggested that the planet 9 could wipe the Earth, but they also mentioned in hurling a bunch of asteroids and comets our way. It sounded like some doomsday plot straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster movie. I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise would love to do a movie something about like that. But before you start panicking or thinking about building an underground bunker, here's a twist. As of now, no one has ever confirmed the existence of Planet 9. It's like this mysterious enigma that scientists are still trying to find. The whole idea about behind Planet 9 came about because some smart astronomers noticed some peculiar movements or objects out there in the region called Kuiper Belt. Kuiper Belt. So before we move ahead, let me tell you what a Kuiper Belt is. What a Kuiper Belt is. It's this enormous area in space that's chock full of icy objects. It's way past, way beyond Neptune, and it's like the backyard of a solar system, where all sort of weird and wonderful things float around, and some may be useful, some may be not, and just it's like the backyard of a solar system. And the theory is that if there's a planet 9 way out there, way beyond Neptune in the backyard of a solar system, it might be causing these strange motions of objects in this Kuiper belt. So the good news is, if I mean if Planet 9 is ever found, it's not this intergalactic wrecking ball that comes to ruin your day. According to Mike Brown, a scientist from the Californian Institute of Technology and one of the origin backers of the Planet 9 theory, we are in the clear. In his words, Planet 9 possesses no threat to us. No need to start stockpiling canned goods and building a spaceship to escape impending doom. So yeah, that's the scoop of Planet Nine. It's a tantalizing idea, a cosmic mystery that has captivated our imagination. As of now, it's a still big question mark. If you found this video intruding, you know what to do. I'll catch you up in the next segment where we'll continue to unravel these wonderful mysteries of the universe and debunk some of the space theories we're going to debunk today. We just discussed about a planet called Planet Nine, where we saw how it could potentially would have not potentially destroyed the Earth. It was a news article which circulated back in April 2016 and claimed that it could destroy Earth. And over the years, no one find any scientific accuracy or theory regarding it. It was just a hoax news. We all encountered a similar theory about a similar planet called the Nibiru planet, which also have claimed some kind of same theories like it could destroy Earth and all that. So now we are talking about this another. So this Nibiru planet is also known as the Nibiru theory. So if you ever wondered about this mysterious planet that some claim is on the collision course with Earth, you are in the right place. Well, we'll explore the story behind Nibiru in a simple and a pretty straightforward way, so you can grab a snack and let's dive in. So let's take you back to 1976. So there was this guy who wrote this book called The 12th Planet. So he have claimed that he cracked the code of some ancient Sumerian cuneiform writing. So According to his interpretation of his writing, of the writings that he found out, the text revealed the existence of a planet beyond Neptune, and it was named Nibiru. Yes, it was also beyond Neptune, just like the planet Nine in the backyard of a space. He even proposed that Nibiru has an orbit that takes whooping 3600 years. Yeah, 3600 years to complete. So that's a pretty long orbit, right? So fast forward a bit, and there's another character that enters the scene, a self-proclaimed psych named Nancy Lider. She have claimed that there are several. She had conversations with extraterrestrials who, among other things, told her that Nibiru was on a collision with Earth and would slam us in the year 2003, which has passed. So the world held its breath, but you could probably guess what happened next. Yes, 2003 came and went away, and there was no Nibiru incident catosphere. So if this wasn't enough for anyone, then Nibiru Doomsday Date got a makeover just like any other Hollywood movie after its box office success. It was pushed to 2012 and suddenly it became linked to the whole 2012 Doomsday prediction. You all remember that, like the hype around 2012, the world would end in 12th December of 2012, or I think some said it was 21st of December 2012. So do let me know in the comment section what was it for you, 12, 12, 12 or 21, 12, 12. So people thought the world was going to end in a cataclysmic event and Nibiru was supposedly a big part of it. So again, as we all know, 12th December and 21st of December came and went away like any other day in our lives, and we are still alive here discussing this theory and explaining you that how it was a conspiracy theory and we are debunking here sitting here. In fact, the fascinating thing is that despite all these predictions and claims, no credible and certified astronomer has ever detected any planet on the collision with Earth. Only some presence of asteroids, comets coming near Earth, and and with so advanced technology nowadays, NASA's not only NASA's. I mean, there are so many countries which have these space organization bodies who could potentially target these coming satellites, deflect their way so we could avoid the asteroids way from hitting the Earth. So, the, what's the deal with Nibiru? To put it simply, the Nibiru theory is more like a story or a legend rather than a scientifically validated concept. While the idea of this hidden, mysterious planet might sound very intriguing, it lacks any concrete evidence to support this theory. So, if any writer is out there, any screenplay writer is out there listening to this, they might develop a story around it and propose it to some actors and any production house. So, in conclusion, the Nibiru theory is certainly a very captivating topic, but also important to approach it with a very critical and a skeptical mindset. The lack of scientific consciousness and evidence that make us think twice before or jumping onto this Nibiru bandwagon. So, as of now, we can rest assured that there is no any imminent planetary collision heading our way as of now, and until someone, until any scientist proves it to you, I think we are all sitting in our houses, we are doing our daily course. So, yeah, thanks for joining me on this exploration of Nibiru theory. Stay curious and keep questioning the world around you. Now it's time for us to move into our next conspiracy theory. And yeah, it's really a conspiracy theory, unlike the Planet Nine or the Nibiru theory. So now let's dive deeper into the intriguing story about the so-called faces of the Mars. Yes, that's the term, faces of the Mars. So back in 1976, NASA's Viking 1, I think, yeah, Viking 1 spacecraft was exploring the red planet Mars. When it captured a rather peculiar image, it looked like there was a face carved in the Martian landscape. And naturally, some people went wild with their imagination, thinking, could it be aliens? Who are these extraterrestrial beings' faces on the surface of the Mars? So did they leave a monumental face as a proof of their existence? Maybe or maybe not. So NASA, the space experts, had different takes on this mysterious finding. They came out and said, "Hold on, not so fast." So they proposed that what we were seeing wasn't any extraterrestrial masterpiece, but was just a trick of light and shadows created by a pile of rocks. So, as you see mirage on the roads or sand dunes, so it is an illusion of the image created by lights and shadows, which and obviously the image is being captured from so far. Obviously, anyone can be in an illusion. So yeah, that's it. Those shadows were making those rocks look like faces. Now you still might be thinking, could it be more something more excited? So to answer this question, NASA wasn't was about to let it go, so it decided to investigate further on the question that it could be something more exciting. So they decided to investigate, and over the years, they sent more spacecraft to Mars to get the better pictures of those faces on the Mars. In 1998, another Mars orbiter joined the party, followed by the Mars Global Surveyor in 2001. So, the new images that were captured by these two Mars orbiters left no too little room for doubt. What did these improved pictures really reveal? Let's talk about it. Well, they clarified that the faces on the Mars was in fact nothing more than a naturally occurring geological formation. It wasn't some ancient Martian selfie left behind by some little green men. No, it was just completely normal. Martian mode playing games with lights and shadows, as it was speculated earlier by the NASA scientists. Much like our very own deserts and hail on the earth, as I said earlier. So, the mystery of the face on the Mars was solved, and NASA's scientific progress prevailed. The agency used advanced technologies and spacecraft to uncover the truth behind these intriguing images, showing us that sometimes things are not what they first seem to be appear. It's just an illusion of mind and obviously lights and shadows. So, in a world where we often look to the stars and imagine incredible possibilities of life and death, and especially life that there could be life sustaining in some other part of the universe, it's essential to have scientists and experts like those at NASA who can separate facts from fiction and can draw that thin line of reality and fiction. Thanks for staying behind and exploring this captivating story about the faces of the Mars. Until next time, and stay curious. Our next theory on the line is rather different and rather horrifying in a few sense. Like the stories, the theories, and the everything that we've talked about so far. It's and this one is totally different from the from everything. So we are diving into the fascinating world of space, and we are talking about Saturn's moon, Iapetus. You might be surprised to learn that it's kind of resemblance to the this star from the Star Wars. You know that huge round space station with a killer laser? Yeah, that's what the theory around Iapetus is about. So now imagine you are out there in space and you spot Iapetus. It's got this massive crater, just like one of the Death Stars that houses the super laser focus lens. Sounds a bit too superficial, but yeah, that's the term, the super laser focus lens. But don't get too excited just yet. Iapetus might look like the Death Star, but it's not just not a planet-destroying machine crafted by aliens. Go back to 2016, there was this article by Daily Mail claiming that Iapetus was an artificial object made by some terrestrial beings. They pointed to a NASA Cassini spacecraft photo from 2004 2005 something. In this picture, there's this line around the Iapetus equator that's kind of like a trench around the Death Star. But you know what's the kicker? That line is nothing but just a mountain range. So not as cool as the Death Star trench with the engines and all, right? So it's entirely different where the engines and all and a mountain race so those going different ways. So yeah, Iapetus is not like that. So turns out Iapetus is just a regular celestial body made of rocks, ice, and other elements which may be consisting to fall under the characteristics of a moon. NASA's Cassini has flown by it many times without getting zapped by any deadly alien lasers. Sorry, Star Wars fans, you couldn't see that happening in real life. So now here's a bonus fact for you. Saturn's moon Mimas has a giant crater called Herschel that also looks a lot like Death Star. But like Iapetus, it's not a planet blasting space station either. So when it's fun to see other moon look alike, the Death Star remains firmly in the world of science fiction, and not anything in reality. Thanks for tuning and listening to me. Now we dive into another mind-blowing mysteries of the universe, which is the Saturn's hexagon. So this story starts back in 1980 when NASA's Voyager spacecraft embarked on an epic journey to explore our solar system. Among its incredible discoveries, Voyager made a pit stop at Saturn, and when it captured on its camera was something which was absolutely jaw-dropping. Imagine this. Voyager was cruising past Saturn, a giant ring planet that's been captivating humans for centuries by its aesthetics and everything. So, as it got closer, something peculiar caught the scientist's eye. On Saturn's north pole, there was this crazy sick-shaped something, and you know what's that wild? In nature, we don't usually see straight lines and shapes like that. It's like nature showing off some crazy geometry skills. Now, if you're a part of a Voyager team, you would be thinking, come on, let's check this top, guys. It's really intruding. So, this hexagon thing on Saturn's pole was nothing anyone has ever seen before. People were puzzled, amazed, and curious all at once happening at the same time. So, here's the theory that took crazy turn of events. Right after the Voyager was sent back those first jaw-dropping pictures, some folks went a bit well bonkers. They couldn't wrap their heads around this mysterious hexagon, so they started coming up with some bizarre theories and every kind of question that comes crosses their mind. Some said it was a message from the aliens, as usual. People always interpret any mysterious thing from the space associated with aliens, like some sort of intergalactic crop circle. Other went even further and believed that it might be a secret doorway to another world that just next level to imagining associating it with aliens. You can imagine the headlines going like Saturn's hexagon, gateway to hell, or some alien art on Saturn, something like that. But here's the spoiler: it's neither of those things. No aliens involved, and it won't lead you to any underground world or any fictitious world you could imagine. Instead, science came to the rescue and unraveled this cosmic enigma. It turns out that the hexagon isn't a science-fi plot twist. It's actually a ginormous hurricane at the Saturn's pole. Yes, a hurricane. And not just any hurricane which you see on Earth. This is nothing looks like that we have ever seen on Earth. It's a never-ending hexagonal storm defining all forms of weather patterns we have ever seen, any scientist have ever came across. And being the cool explorers, I'm really sorry, we decided to dig deeper into this mind-boggling hexagon mystery. They sent the Cassini spacecraft to Saturn, which by the way is like a cosmic detective to investigate anything, sniffing out clues in the vastness of the space. Cassini did some flybys, taking a closer look at the hazy stuff and all of the quakes of the storm. But why? Because they want to understand why Saturn got such a weird shaped hurricane going on. Usually hurricanes are in concentric circles, but this one was a totally different one, in hexagonal shape, which is never seen before for anyone. So it was kind of like trying to solve a big space puzzle. So we learned that the hexagonal straight sides are caused by the storm jets streams in the atmosphere, making the storm look like it's a gigantic hexagonal waves. So there you have it, guys. The story behind the Saturn's hexagon. It might not be a gateway to another dimension or some alien artwork, but it's still out of the world mystery that keeps the scientists scratching their heads. Who knows what's the other secrets the universe has in store for us? So keep exploring and always be a curious learner so that you can always investigate, learn new things about space and every other thing. Thank you. The next thing that we all are gonna discuss is not as big as the theories that we have discussed so far, but there was a time way back in 2003 when it was really had people scratching their heads about what's going on with this. So let's dive deep into this fascinating piece of space information that's all about Mars, and the story dates back to 2003. So sit back, relax, and let's have a chat about this infamous Mars Hawks. Picture this: in 2003, there's a buzz in the air. People are talking about Mars like never before. The word on the word on the street is that Mars is going to make a close approach to Earth, closer than it has in past 60,000 years. And that is not all. Rumors has it that Mars will be so close it will appear in the sky as big as the full moon. Yes, as big as the full moon, you could see Mars with your naked eyes. And that's a story that would make up anyone look up, right? So that's what people were doing. But here was what gets the thing really interesting. This was Mars Madness began with a single email, a simple message that got twisted along its way. Something was sent, something came up, what you said, something else was heard, so a misinterpretation of the message. So simple message got twisted along the way. It's like a game of cosmic telephone, and by the time the story made its round, it had transformed into a wild tale of astronomical portions. As with many things, the internet played a very significant role in spreading this Mars myth. Every August, when the Mars is typically closer to Earth in its orbit, the story would resurface every year, gaining new life. Which social media took hold of it, and suddenly it felt like, I'm really sorry, the dog downstairs got way too much. So it felt like everyone in the neighbor was talking about this cosmic event, and this was about to happen. So here's the real kicker. The claim that Mars would be as big as the full moon is, well, not quite true. I mean, if you think it of very logically and sensibly and using your common sense, you know what's the distance between Earth and Moon and Earth and the Mars. It's miles apart, it's way apart. It's just way apart. You can't even imagine that. In fact, it's far from truth. Mars, even during its closest approach, is still as a tiny dot in the night sky. It's a very bright dot and it had this reddish glow, and we all know it's not going to fill up your field of your view like me. Like it's very tiny if you see it very early in the morning when there's less light pollution. You might see it during that time of the month. So if you're itching to see Mars up close and personal, there's a good news. You have options. If you got a telescope, now that's the time to bust it out. A decent telescope will give you a fantastic view of a very one red planet. You can spot some of the surface features and may even see the polar ice cap. It's a stargazing experience you would never forget. I don't have a telescope personally, but I have looked up to images on the internet of how Mars looks on telescope, and it's very fascinating. So if you have one, please do try it. And if you are one of those armchair astronaut, NASA has got your backseat. I am one of them. They have sent a bunch of spacecraft to Mars over the years, and they have captured some incredible photo of the Martian surface. These images are like the window into another world, and you can explore Mars from the comfort of your home, sitting in your chair, lying on your bed, on your mobiles, laptops, TVs, anything. So there you have the Mars House of 2003. It's a reminder that not everything you read on the internet is true, especially when it comes to celestial bodies and celestial event. So next time you come across such a crazy news, make sure to investigate on your level and don't jump into conclusion without proper research. And keep looking up to the night sky, keep exploring, and keep your curiosity alive. The universe is full of wonders, and who knows what amazing discoveries are waiting for you out there. So stay curious, my friends, and goodbye. Welcome, followers, to our next destination. We are diving deep into the incredible world of black holes. Obviously, but let it say it from my side. Those mysterious things in the space that can be a bit confusing. Well, let's break it down in a lot simpler terms. Picture this: black holes are like cosmic vacuum cleaners, right? If you think they are actually cosmic vacuum cleaners. They have this super strong gravitational pulls that's so intense that even light can't escape from them. It's like they are the ultimate vacuum tool ever created, sucking up everything around them, whoever goes across them. Hold on, let's clear up some of the mysteries related to black holes. In reality, black holes are just like any other massive object in space, like stars or planets. they have this thing called escape velocity. If you are a science student, you must have heard that. If you are not, and if you are an explorer and a learner, you still might have come across the term of escape velocity. It's the speed you need to go to break free from the gravitational pull. Think of it like trying to jump really high to escape from a giant rubber band's pull. For example, if you are on Earth, you need to go at around 18,400, 411 miles per hour, something like that, or to break it free from its pull, or you can say 30,000 kilometers per hour. But when we talk about black holes, there's a bit of it, things get a bit trickier. At the event horizon, which is like the edge of the black hole, if you are as fast as the light, going about 30,000 kilometers per hour or 18, 186, 400 miles per hour, you are still not making it out. You are stuck, and only way is down into the black hole. Here's the interesting part. The further you are from the black hole, the easier it is for you to escape its clutches. If you're way out there, black holes act a lot like regular stars. You can just cruise around without being pulled in. Imagine if the sun suddenly, immediately turned into a black hole. Don't worry, it won't ever happen. It's just like, as I said, imagine, it's very hypothetical. Earth would still be happily orbiting around as it does now without the sun as well. So yeah, we have just debunked another theory. Black holes may seem like these super mysterious light swallowing monsters, whatever you want to call it, but at the end of the day, they are just another part of this awesome universe we live in. And remember, the farther you are from them, the less they feel like vacuum cleaners and more like regular stars. So don't worry about it. Every day when you step out, you look at the sky, you look at the sun, and for you it appears to be yellow if you're yellow or red if you're very early in the morning, and even at the sunrise or at the sunset as well. We've all noticed the sky appears blue and the sun looks yellow, but there's a lot more to the story. So let's grab a seat and let me take you to a journey, talk through the science of it after all. You might have heard that the sun is actually white. It's true. The sun emits all the colors in the visible light spectrum, but when we look at it, it actually appears yellow. But why does it happen? Did you ever know the logic behind it? Well, it's all about how sunlight interprets with our atmosphere. Imagine the sun as this big shiny ball of white light up in the sky. When it light enters when the light enters our atmosphere, it starts to go through some changes. You see, sunlight is made of different colors like a rainbow, and all sorts of different colors. Each of it has a color of different wavelength, different spectrum, frequency, and this is where the actual magic happens. So magic is actually a very fantasized word for science here. The blue end of the spectrum has shorter wavelength while the red ones have the longer ones. So here's the key element. Shorter wavelengths are more likely to scatter when they bump into tiny particles of the air. During the day, the blue light from the sun scatters high in the atmosphere, and that's what makes the sun looks blue. But wait, it gets even more interesting further. In the morning and in the evening, as I was talking earlier, the sun is lower in its sky and the sunlight has to travel through more of our atmosphere to reach to us to our eyes. So when this happens, these short these short blue wavelengths get scattered away before they hit the ground. What's left are the longer reds and orange wavelength, giving us those breathtaking red and orange hues during the sunset and the sunrise, and which are very captivating for our aesthetic photographs. So to sum it up in a few sentences, the sun's true color is actually white. But when the sunlight interacts with the atmosphere, it appears yellow during the day. The blue sky is the result of the shorter blue wavelength getting scattered high in the atmosphere. And during those magical moments at the dawn and the dusk, the sunlight travels through more air, allowing the longer red and orange color to dominate the scene. So nature sure has its own way of creating some beautiful illusions, right? We have already talked so much about the hexagonal hurricanes, um, uh, a lot. So it's like a daily hit show happening right above our heads. Thanks for joining me on this little side adventure and a little education. And I hope you learned something new about the sun and the sky today. Now I want to take you on a journey through solar system to explore two fascinating planets, which are the first two planets of a solar system next to Sun, which is the Mercury and the Venus. We'll uncover the incredible temperature extremes on these two worlds and learn how the atmosphere play a very vital role in shaping their individual and corresponding climates. So let's start with Mercury. Picture this. You are on a spaceship flying through the space and you're finding yourself just 36 million miles away from the sun. That's where the Mercury orbits, which is almost 3 times closer to the sun than Earth's orbit, which is way too close. Now it's daytime on Mercury, and you think it would be the hottest place on the solar system, right? Well, it's indeed scorching hot. The temperature during the day soars up to staggering 800 Fahrenheit, or you can say 400 degrees Celsius. It's like standing to a blazing bonfire but Mercury is actually isn't the hottest planet or the solar system, because I mean, if you think that yes, obviously Mercury is closest to the sun, it has to be the hottest planet on the solar system, but unfortunately it isn't. The title for the hottest planet on the solar system goes to Venus, even though it's a bit farther from the sun and the second planet from the solar system. Mercury is the hottest planet on the solar system. Mercury's averages an astonishing temperature of 864 degrees Fahrenheit, or you can say 462 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to melt lead. So, why is Venus hotter than Mercury and why it is farther from the Sun? The answer lies in its atmosphere. So, let's discuss it. Venus has a thick, very dense, and mainly made of carbon dioxide atmosphere. So it's a very thin atmosphere. Imagine this atmosphere as a cozy insulating blanket which you use on your not so hot days. So it traps the sun's heat, it preventing it from escaping back into space. It's like wrapping yourself on a cold winter's night. This thick heat trapping atmosphere is why Venus is such a scorcher. Now let's shift our focus back to Mercury's atmosphere, or mm, for it. Mercury has an incredible thin atmosphere, more like a whip of air, and it's way too apart as compared to Mercury and Venus. Like Venus is very dense in its atmosphere, and Mercury is very, very thin. Not even close to a blanket, as I explained earlier. This means there's no cozy blanket to hold in the heat. So when Mercury turns away from the sun at night, it's like being exposed to a freezing cold of space. The temperature of Mercury plummets to a bone chilling minus 292 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 180 degrees Celsius. That's colder than the coldest winter days on our planet Earth. Yes, even colder. I mean, it's incomparable. That's way too cold. So, if I summarize these both Mercury and Venus planets experience extreme temperatures, but it's all about their atmosphere, which holds the temperature more and how dense the atmosphere gets. So Venus' thick carbon dioxide rich atmosphere traps its heat, making it the hottest planet in the solar system despite being second closest to the sun. So while Mercury's lack of sustainable atmosphere leads to wild temperature swings between day and night. So if you whenever you are measuring temperature of any body, doesn't matter for a human being or a planet, if you have to take a collective temperature, you always take an average for that. So that's when, because of differences in the day and the night, so it also gets accumulated lesser than the overall temperature of the Venus, apart from the logic which I gave earlier, which is the thick atmosphere. So these two have both the two factors, the day and night difference in Mercury and the atmosphere of Venus being thicker than the Mercury, both ultimately affect the temperature difference and making Venus the hottest planet on our solar system. So there you have it, the hot and cold facts about Mercury and Venus, two fascinating worlds in a cosmic neighborhood and a neighboring planets. Do you ever just sit ideal and think that what if the spacesuits that our astronauts wear while doing crazy scientific explorations, um, what is made of, or what happens if sometimes maybe a hole on it or maybe it get burst? So first of all, these aren't space suit like a proper suit. These are more or less like a container which in which the astronaut gets inside and gets locked up. So space suits are basically containers, but this is not we are talking about. So what I'm going to talk about is would the if the space suit gets burst in the space, so would also lead to the explosion of the astronaut. So we are going to, it's a bit interesting, so let's discuss this. We are going to a journey to understand what happens to your body in the vacuum of space. It's a wild ride, and trust me, you will want to know what's goes down up there. So again, picture this. We are down here on Earth, and our bodies are used to living under weights of a planet's atmosphere and its gravity. We are used to it, we're naturally born to it, we're adaptive of it. It's like a cozy blanket of air that we don't even notice. But once you venture into the vastness of the space, the familiar atmosphere is nowhere to be found. It's complete. Our body is completely alien to that. We are new to that, and that's when the weird stuff starts happening. You see, our bodies are mostly made of water, as we are 70-75% water. And where there's no atmospheric pressure to keep the water in check, it starts to misbehave and get out of hand. It begins to evaporate, kind of like when you leave a wet towel in the sun and it gets dry, or you leave the clothes to dry, right? It dries up. Now, think about this happening to the water inside your body. It starts to turn into the vapors. What's the result of this overall evaporation that takes place? It causes your body to puff like a balloon. That's right, you are literally inflating in space. But don't go thinking that you'll pop or anything dramatic like that, explosions and all. No, don't go there, don't imagine that. Our skin is surprisingly very stretchy. So if it can handle that pressure change without bursting, it's like built in a safety features that our body adapts. I mean, if you look like, yes, it may penetrate a needle, but it isn't as simple as that. It's really super stretchy and maybe compatible to, different kind of stretches. But here's where the things get a little more bizarre. After about 10 seconds in the vacuum of space, something else happens. You are going to pass out. Yeah, you've heard that right. You are going to lose your consciousness. Your body simply can't handle the sudden pressure drop, as I said. I may keep saying it. That's you are new to that. And this sudden pressure drop and it's like taking a quick nap. It's not fun, but it's a survival mechanism which your body adapts. So let me share a real life example from back in back in 1966, NASA was doing a test, and one of the spacesuit technicians found themselves in a very tricky situation. Some equipment decided to act up, and within those 10 seconds, they went night night, right there in space. Here's the silver lining for you: NASA was on the ball. Within 30 seconds, they managed to restore the pressure, and the technician woke up safe and sound, completely safe. So that's the scoop of whole things what happens to your body in space. It's kind of like a slow motion balloon animal show, and it's not one of the most pleasant experience you would like to experience in your life. But yeah, that's some pretty cool space suits experiences and stuff you might have not known or known. But yeah, keep safe and sound while doing your explorations and sound yourself from this cosmos. Buckle up, guys, because we are now about to deep dive into the fairy world of spacecraft re entry and demystify why things get red hot when they return to Earth. You might be wondering, it is all because of friction, right? When the spacecraft re enter the Earth. So, it isn't really about friction, it's a little bit more of that. So, let's explore this in a little bit of detail. So, I've been saying throughout, picture this. So, I think you have to picture this one more time. A returning spacecraft hurtling back onto our atmosphere at the speed faster than the sound itself. You might have known that. When the spacecraft enters back to the Earth, it's faster than the speed of light. So, not light, I'm really sorry, not faster than the speed of light, but faster than the speed of sound. It's incredibly fast, and at first, it is as cold as ice, like minus 250 degrees Fahrenheit. But as it descends, something mind boggling happens. The temperature rapidly skyrockets from minus 250 degrees to 3000 degrees Fahrenheit. For your reference, that's hotter than the molten lava. But it's all of this is due to the friction. Not exactly. Friction is a big deal in a world of engineering, especially when it comes to designing sleek and speedy rockets. You can think of it like rubbing your hands together to create the heat. The more contact they are in between the spacecraft surface and the surrounding air, the more friction heating occurs. Here's the twist for you. The spacecraft returning to Earth isn't built for speed, it's wide and blunt, not designed for slicking through air like a bullet. Now imagine this massive, not so streamlined spacecraft plunging through Earth's atmosphere. The air molecules in the path can scatter quickly enough to get out of the way. They start stacking up beneath the craft, creating a sort of cushion that keeps most of the hot air away from the spacecraft surface. This cushioning effect prevents the heat from transferring directly to the vehicle, kind of like a shield against the blazing heat. So when friction does play a role, it's not the main reason for this crazy high temperatures during those re-entries. So friction is a part, but it's not the main part. Now here's the real superstar in this whole sizzling saga of spacecraft re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere: pressure. When the spacecraft descends, the air molecule around gets squeezed together. The closer they come to one another, the higher temperature soars. In fact, the pressure becomes so intense that the air molecule starts to break apart, creating a structuring layer of charged plasma and giving birth to a plasma corona. It's like the air itself and turning into a super hot lightning. So, to sum it all, what I have said just now, uh, while friction does add to the heat generated during the re-entry, it's like the pressure that really cracks up the heat. When those air molecules are squeezely tight, they heat up and things get toasty real fast. In fact, it gets so hot that they start to break down and forming the electrifying plasma corona, which I just mentioned earlier. So now you get to know why the re-entering spacecraft gets so damn hot. Hope this explanation makes it crystal clear for you. So the next time when someone tells you that friction is the reason why things get heated up for spacecraft entering into the Earth atmosphere, you may be able to correct them and tell them what the real reason is. If you enjoyed this video and found this helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And for more cool science stuff, keep coming back. Thank you. So buckle up, guys. This is the last theory that we are going to discuss, and it's about that whether you can hear sound in space or not. So we are about to dive deep into this fascinating world of sound in space, or should I rather say, the lack of it. You might have wondered why space, with all of its cosmic fireworks and amazing explosions, seems to be eerily silent. Well, today we are going to explore this cosmic mystery, you and I together. Imagine yourself as an astronaut floating in this infinite darkness of space. You're observing a spectacular event for, say, an explosion. You'd expect to hear a resounding sound boom or a very explosive sound, right? But here's the catch: you won't hear a single sound, and I'll explain why is that. On a beautiful planet Earth, when something goes kaboom and we hear it, thanks to something called the pressure wave. This wave is like a ripple that moves through material like air or water. It happens when these teeny tiny particles in these materials bump into each other and pass some of their energy along, creating sound. It's almost like a game of pass of the energy. Here's the real trigger. In space, the particles are ridiculously far apart. I mean, they are talking about mind boggling distances. So, when any explosion occurs in space, all the vibrations and movements from it has nowhere to go. It's like trying to pass an energy in a room where there's no one else there to catch you except for you, playing along. It just fizzles out into nothingness. That's why there is no sound. Now, I know you might be wondering, what about those epic space explosions you see in movies and the TVs? Don't they make noise and all? The truth is, those dramatic explosions are often added to the cinematic effect. In reality, space is a soundless void. When you experience a movie, the creators need to give you something to enjoy, because cinema isn't real. It's a fictional world for people to enjoy, spend their 2 and 3 hours to go out there and enjoy. So everything you see in cinema, movies, it's not reality. So let's put it in this way. If you ever out there in the cosmos, you would hear absolutely nothing. When a spaceship blows up, a star, it's crazy how explosions are going out there and we're talking about sounds in space. So you'd hear absolutely nothing when a spaceship blows up, a star goes supernova, or any other explosive thing ever happens in space. It's a complete vacuum of silence. But here, this very tiny exception. If you were on a planet with an atmosphere just as good as the Earth, having the same, if you were on the planet Earth, having the same characteristics in the atmosphere just like Earth, that's when you'd hear some kind of noise. Or any planet which supports the characteristics which are able to produce noise. The air here lets those sound waves travel and reach our ears, giving us those booms, bangs, and rumbling we are familiar with throughout our childhood. But in the vacuum of space, it's like sound takes a vacation and we are left in complete silence. So, to sum it up, in a nutshell, sound might be a place of cosmic wonders, but also a place of eerie quietness. Explosions in space may look incredibly epic, but when it comes to sound, it's a whole different story on another level. Thanks for tuning in for this cosmic exploration. And if you found this video interesting, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe for more mind-boggling space facts. Until next time, stay curious and keep gazing at the stars. And it was lovely to discuss you all about so many theories regarding space, debunking theories, discussing theories, space facts, and everything. And I hope we could do this another next time as well. Do chime in the comment section about your space theories and do let me know what you think about it.